You've been hiding something from me all these years, haven't you? Ethan Miller muttered under his breath as the neon glow of his apartment flickered against the cracked panels of the viewport, the hum of distant engines vibrating through the metal floor beneath his boots, the scent of scorched circuitry lingering from the malfunctioning power conduit. And for a moment, the quiet stillness of the night held him in suspense, broken only by the soft clink of the letter envelope in his hand, edges frayed from years of handling, the handwriting unfamiliar yet somehow intimate. Zyra's turquoise eyes appeared in his memory, sharp and calculating, but softened with a warmth that had grown over 5 shared years, her laughter echoing through the narrow corridors of the starship, where they had built a small world of their own amid a universe that barely noticed humans. Ethan traced the thin lines of the envelope, feeling the subtle ridges as if they could tell him what lay inside. And he remembered the way Zyra had always studied him, her alien gaze, searching for something beyond the surface, something human, something worth protecting. The lights of the nearby city reflected in the metallic spires outside, creating a kaleidoscope of colors that danced across the control panels, the low hiss of cooling vents filling the pauses between his quickened breaths. Ethan's mind raced with possibilities, every scenario looping faster than the blinking indicators on the ship's dashboard. He stepped closer to the viewport, peering into the distant sands of the desert below, remembering the first day they had landed, how Zyra had insisted on walking alone through the shifting dunes, her boots leaving imprints that glowed faintly under the dying light, and how he had followed, always a step behind, fearing for her safety, fearing for the fragile trust they had built. The hum of the ship's engines grew louder, a subtle vibration against the soles of his boots, syncing with the quick beat of his heart as he tore open the envelope. A small slip of paper slid free, delicate yet sturdy, and the words scrawled in a language both alien and unmistakably royal made him stop, the weight of years of shared secrets pressing down as if the universe had folded in on itself for a brief moment. He glanced at the empty seat across from him, the soft shimmer of Zyra's cloak still lingering in his memory, and he realized that this letter, simple in appearance, held the potential to change everything, to reveal a truth she had kept hidden. And as the neon lights flickered again, casting elongated shadows across the room, Ethan felt a pull toward the unknown, a blend of anticipation and trepidation, knowing that whatever lay beyond the folds of paper would redefine the delicate balance of their lives together. And yet the fear of losing what they had built, the quiet moments and unspoken understandings, kept him rooted, unable to move, caught in the fragile web of trust and revelation. The hum of the engines a constant reminder that the world outside, vast and indifferent, would continue to turn even as a secret of immense magnitude waited quietly in his hands. The hum of the ship's engines filled the cabin as Ethan Miller placed the letter gently on the console, his fingers lingering on the smooth surface as though feeling the weight of Zyra's secret through it. Outside the viewport, the desert stretched endlessly, sand rippling under the fading light of the twin suns, casting long shadows across the fractured landscape. The air inside the ship carried the faint scent of ionized metal and recycled oxygen, a reminder of the isolation they had learned to navigate together. Ethan moved to adjust the navigation panel, the tactile feedback of the buttons precise under his fingertips, his eyes flicking to the soft glow of the holographic display. Zyra had always been meticulous about calibrations, her alien understanding of mechanics precise, and Ethan had spent years learning her rhythms, anticipating her preferences. The quiet intimacy of their shared routines unspoken yet deeply felt. He leaned back against the worn metal chair, the subtle vibrations of the engines resonating through his boots, and thought of the first day she had arrived, her movements cautious, yet imbued with a natural grace that made her presence magnetic, the turquoise hue of her skin shifting under the cabin lights, reflecting emotions she did not voice, the memory of her tentative smile, the way she had studied him with those luminous eyes, filled with both curiosity and a guarded mistrust. It all converged now in the stillness as he considered the letter, a single sheet of alien parchment, the script flowing in a manner that seemed both elegant and commanding, hinting at the responsibilities she had concealed. Ethan's mind traced the contours of her expressions over the years, each glance a silent conversation, each gesture a negotiation of trust. Outside, the desert winds began to pick up, tiny grains of sand skimming the surface like whispers, reminding him that time was moving, that the choices they made in these fleeting moments could ripple far beyond the walls of the cabin. He remembered the night they had watched the twin suns set over the dunes, Zyra leaning lightly against the railing, speaking softly about distant stars and planets he would never see, her voice carrying a musical cadence, alien yet strangely familiar, and how he had felt the pull of responsibility, not just for her, but for the shared life they had built amidst the indifferent expanse of space. Ethan opened the ship's datapad to review the coordinates embedded in the letter, the numbers precise, a map to location she had kept hidden, and he felt the subtle thrill of discovery mixed with apprehension, knowing that each step forward was a step into the unknown, yet the trust between them, forged in years of quiet collaboration and shared survival, gave him confidence, a steadying presence against the vast, echoing emptiness. The lights of the control panels reflected in his eyes as he tapped the final key sequence, initiating the trajectory that would take them closer to the truth. A gentle vibration under his palm, a confirmation of the path chosen. The silence of the cabin now filled with anticipation, the kind that made the heart quicken and the mind sharpen. As Ethan glanced at the viewport, imagining Zyra seated across from him, her figure silhouetted against the desert horizon, a queen in waiting, the story of their years together and the secrets yet to be unveiled, pressing forward, compelling, inevitable, and for a moment, the hum of the engines, the shifting sands outside, the soft glow of the holographic display, and the quiet determination in his chest all aligned into a single, potent awareness that the journey had only just begun. The stars stretched endlessly beyond the viewport, a canvas of infinite possibilities, as Ethan Miller adjusted the ship's trajectory, the control panel humming softly beneath his hands, the desert below reduced to a shifting tapestry of orange and gold under the fading twin suns, the hum of the engines steady, grounding, yet the tension of anticipation filled every corner of the cabin. His eyes flicking to the slip of parchment on the console, the alien script still glowing faintly, as if alive. With Zyra's presence, he could almost feel her observing him, her gaze sharp yet imbued with a quiet trust built over countless shared moments. The memory of her laughter echoing through the narrow corridors of the ship mingled with the soft metallic scent of the cabin, a reminder of the years spent navigating life together in an environment that neither fully understood yet had made their own. Ethan moved to the viewport, tracing the contours of the dunes below, the wind sculpting patterns that caught the light in a mesmerizing dance. And he remembered the first day she had stepped aboard, tentative yet resolute, her movements precise, her turquoise skin reflecting the soft glow of the console lights, the way she had studied him with a mixture of curiosity and measured caution, and how those cautious glances had evolved into unspoken understanding, a silent language of gestures and shared routines. The hum of the engines resonating through his boots, syncing with the quickened beat of his heart as he considered the path ahead, the coordinates from the letter etched clearly in his mind, each one a step closer to revelations that had been carefully withheld. Ethan leaned back slightly, feeling the subtle vibrations of the ship, the tactile hum beneath his fingertips grounding him as he planned the approach. Outside, the desert winds picked up, sand swirling in delicate eddies, a constant reminder of the mutable world around them. He thought of Zyra seated across from him, her posture elegant, a hint of tension in the curve of her shoulders, the way her eyes had always been able to measure the space between intention and action, a queen in waiting whose secrets had shaped the life they shared. And yet, despite the magnitude of what lay ahead, Ethan felt a quiet determination, a steadying presence born from years of partnership and trust, the soft glow of the holographic displays reflecting in his eyes as he traced the final path across the desert, each adjustment deliberate, precise, the hum of the engines a constant companion, as he prepared to step into the unknown, knowing that the next moments would test the depth of their bond, the strength of their trust, and the revelation of a life hidden in plain sight. The anticipation building, a quiet pulse that resonated through the cabin. Ethan's hands steady as he gripped the console, the desert stretching below like an endless ocean of possibility. the stars above like scattered fragments of destiny. And for a fleeting instant, the weight of all those years, the unspoken truths, the shared memories, pressed upon him, leaving him acutely aware that the journey was far from over, that each calculated movement, each subtle decision, would shape the unfolding story. And as the ship glided closer to the coordinates Zyra had hidden, Ethan felt the first true brush of understanding, a mingling of awe, respect, and a sense of wonder that their lives, intertwined for half a decade, were on the brink of a revelation that would redefine both their futures. The first light of the twin suns crept across the desert, casting elongated shadows of the fractured dunes, as Ethan Miller carefully guided the ship closer to the coordinates, the hum of the engines vibrating through his boots and up his spine, each measurement precise, every adjustment deliberate, the holographic map floating in the air before him with shimmering lines indicating the path ahead. He could see the faint outlines of structures emerging from the sand, angular and unfamiliar, their surfaces catching the early light in glints of metal and glass, a stark contrast to the soft, flowing curves of the dunes surrounding them. Ethan's mind traced the years he had spent with Zyra, every shared moment, every word unspoken yet understood, the quiet routines aboard the ship, the shared laughter during maintenance checks, the subtle, silent support during long hours of navigation, all of it converging into the anticipation of this moment. The letter in his hand had been a key, and now the lock was almost within reach. He adjusted the thrusters, feeling the gentle push of air and the subtle vibration of the ship against the sand, each movement a confirmation that they were still in control. Outside, the wind lifted tiny grains of sand into delicate spirals, catching the light like 1,000 tiny prisms, a reminder of the ever-changing environment they navigated together. Ethan's eyes flicked to the viewport, imagining Zyra standing just beyond, her posture elegant, her movements precise, the subtle shifts of color in her turquoise skin reflecting the strength and grace she had carried with her through every challenge, the quiet power she had hidden beneath the surface. And he felt a surge of admiration, a mixture of awe and deep familiarity, the cabin filled with the low hum of machinery, punctuated by the occasional beep of the control console as the ship's systems adjusted to the desert conditions. Ethan leaned slightly forward, hands steady on the panels, eyes tracing the path to the hidden location, and he could feel the years of trust and understanding between them, the unspoken dialogue of glances, gestures, and shared experiences guiding him. Outside, the desert shimmered with heat and light, the distant horizon bending in the early morning haze. And as the structures drew nearer, the realization settled in that this place, these coordinates, held more than secrets. They held the culmination of a lifetime of shared understanding. The anticipation built with every step closer, the weight of possibility pressing gently on his chest, the quiet expectation of discovery mingling with the comfort of shared history. Ethan felt a deepened sense of purpose, knowing that the next moments would test the depth of their connection, the strength of the trust they had forged, and the insight into the life Zyra had concealed. And with the ship settling into a careful hover above the entrance, Ethan allowed himself a slow breath, the soft vibration of the engines grounding him, the desert wind whispering past the viewport, the sunlight glinting off the edges of the hidden structures below, as he prepared to step into a moment where the past, present, and hidden truths would converge, a careful anticipation that demanded both focus and patience, the culmination of years of partnership bringing him to the threshold of revelation. And as the light danced across the control panels, Ethan felt the steady pull of destiny guiding him, the quiet assurance that whatever lay beyond the entrance, their journey together would navigate it with the same trust, understanding, and unwavering determination that had defined every shared moment for the past 5 years. The soft glow of the early morning light seeped through the viewport, scattering across the polished panels of the ship, as Ethan Miller moved carefully along the narrow aisle. Each step deliberate, the hum of the engines a constant, grounding presence beneath his feet, the desert outside stretching endlessly, a mosaic of warm golds and muted reds that shifted subtly with every gust of wind, the holographic displays flickering softly, displaying coordinates, topography, and the gentle pulse of the ship's life support systems. Ethan's hands hovered over the panels, adjusting small calibrations, ensuring a smooth approach, the memory of Zyra's precise movements echoing in his mind, her graceful gestures when she had first taken control of similar systems, the way she had measured every nuance, every microsecond, an elegance of calculation that had always impressed him. He could feel the years of shared routines, the quiet, unspoken understanding between them, guiding his actions as he prepared for what lay ahead. The scent of recycled air mixed with a hint of metallic undertones, the environment alive with subtle vibrations. Ethan's eyes swept across the cabin, noting every reflection, every shadow, the play of light on the surfaces, creating an almost tangible rhythm, a pulse that mirrored his own heartbeat. Outside, the structures beneath them grew clearer, angular yet fluid in design, a fusion of alien architecture with natural desert formations, the sunlight glinting off smooth surfaces, highlighting subtle patterns and colors. Ethan adjusted the view, rotating the holographic map to align with the emerging landscape, each shift revealing new angles, hidden entryways, and unexpected contours, the anticipation building. With every adjustment, a quiet thrill underlining the familiar tension of navigation. He recalled the early days of their coexistence, Zyra observing him with those luminous turquoise eyes, calculating, curious, and yet with a softness reserved for moments of shared trust, the small routines that had built an unspoken bridge between human and alien, the careful understanding, the delicate negotiation of space and action. And as he moved closer to the coordinates, the air seemed to hum in response, the gentle vibration of the engines blending with the distant whisper of the desert wind, a chorus of movement and sound that filled the cabin. Ethan allowed a slow breath, grounding himself, feeling the subtle rhythm of the ship as it adjusted to the terrain below, every minor movement of the controls precise, each shift deliberate, aware that the slightest miscalculation could disrupt the delicate balance of approach, yet trusting the years of experience, the shared knowledge, and the quiet understanding between them. The glow of the displays reflecting in his eyes as he traced the path, imagining Zyra just beyond, poised, measured, her presence a constant, silent anchor in the midst of anticipation. The final adjustments made, the ship settling into a perfect hover above a subtle indentation in the desert floor, Ethan's pulse steadying, the landscape stretching beneath them in a tapestry of golds and reds, the play of light and shadow creating depth, dimension, and the sense of impending revelation. And in that moment, the convergence of past, present, and potential future pressed quietly, insistently, upon him, a gentle but powerful awareness that whatever awaited them would mark the continuation of their shared journey, a test of trust, understanding, and the quiet strength of a bond forged over 5 years. The air in the cabin seemed to thrum with anticipation as Ethan Miller leaned over the control panel, eyes fixed on the shifting holographic readouts that mapped the desert structures below, the early sunlight glinting off the metallic edges of the hidden complex, casting intricate patterns across the sand, every line and angle hinting at secrets long held, the hum of the engines vibrating gently through the floor, a steady reminder of the ship's presence and the careful control required to maintain position. Ethan's fingers traced the controls with practiced precision, recalling the countless hours spent fine-tuning the systems with Zyra at his side, her turquoise skin glinting under the soft cabin light, her movements precise, almost musical in their rhythm, a silent lesson in efficiency and focus. And as he adjusted the thrusters, the ship tilted slightly, aligning with the narrow approach, each movement deliberate, measured, a dance between human intuition and alien engineering, the holographic interface shimmering with reflected light, casting a subtle glow on Ethan's face as he considered the years they had shared, the quiet routines, the unspoken support, the moments of shared observation and study, Zyra's gaze often analyzing, occasionally softening in moments of trust, the unspoken connection now guiding him as much as the instruments. Outside, the desert seemed alive, the wind lifting tiny grains of sand in delicate swirls that caught the sunlight. like scattered diamonds, a visual echo of the meticulous calibration required to approach the hidden location safely. Ethan's breath was steady, matching the slow, controlled vibration of the cabin, a rhythm that had become second nature over years of careful coordination with Zyra. His thoughts tracing the memory of her watching him during early calibration sessions, teaching without words. Her presence a subtle anchor in the sea of uncertainty, and as the ship hovered over a slight indentation marking the entrance, the anticipation of discovery built quietly. The convergence of past experience, present action, and the promise of revelation pressing gently yet insistently against him. Ethan allowed a measured breath, grounding himself in the tactile hum of the ship, the slight resistance under his palms, the delicate shifts of the console under his fingers, every micro-adjustment a confirmation of control and trust, the desert outside a flowing tapestry of color and shadow, the distant horizon bending under the twin suns, and for a fleeting moment, time seemed to stretch, the years of shared understanding with Zyra converging with the imminent revelation, the quiet thrill of proximity to what she had long hidden mingling with the steady confidence born of trust and patience, the ship's gentle sway a constant companion, guiding him forward with the same care and deliberation that had defined their partnership from the very beginning. And as Ethan prepared to navigate the final approach, the desert light scattering across the cabin and the hidden structures below, the quiet anticipation pressed upon him like a tangible presence, a culmination of shared years and unspoken communication, a precise balance of focus, trust, and the subtle excitement of what lay just beyond the threshold. The sense of connection to Zyra both grounding and exhilarating, a careful preparation for the next chapter in their intertwined journey. The ship settled gently on the desert floor, the subtle vibrations of the engines fading into a soft hum as Ethan Miller released his grip on the control panel, his eyes scanning the intricate patterns of light and shadow cast by the early morning sun across the hidden structures below, the angular walls and curved surfaces catching glints of sunlight that shimmered like distant stars. Every reflection a reminder of the complexity and elegance of the alien design. Ethan moved cautiously along the narrow walkway leading from the ship, the grainy texture of the sand shifting under his boots, each step deliberate and measured, the desert wind carrying faint particles that sparkled in the light, the scent of warmed metal mingling with the arid air, a sensory reminder of both environment and machine. He glanced back briefly, imagining Zyra standing at the ship's entrance, poised, her turquoise skin catching the sun, the subtle glow emphasizing the strength and precision in her movements. And he felt the deep familiarity of years of shared routines, the unspoken communication that had built trust and understanding, guiding his actions as he approached the first entrance to the structure, the smooth metal panels reflecting the sky above, the design both functional and aesthetically intricate, a reminder of Zyra's careful attention to detail. Ethan paused, adjusting a small sensor on his wrist, the faint glow of the display illuminating the lines of concentration on his face. He remembered how she had taught him to observe, to notice the smallest shifts in light and movement, the subtleties that could indicate passageways or mechanisms hidden in plain sight. His breath steady, syncing with the low hum of the engines that had carried them safely to this point, the desert stretching endlessly on either side, the patterns of wind-blown sand shifting as if alive. Ethan stepped forward, placing his hand gently on the cool metal of the entrance, feeling the subtle vibrations beneath his fingers, a delicate resonance that seemed to echo the quiet pulse of anticipation he felt in his chest, the air itself charged with the convergence of years of shared experience, trust, and the imminence of revelation. As he activated the primary interface, a soft blue glow emanated from the embedded panels, the mechanisms responding to his precise touch, each light flicker a confirmation of alignment, the sand outside reflecting off the polished surfaces, creating a play of light that danced across the interior as he cautiously made his way through the first corridor, the subtle scent of ionized metal and warm air enveloping him, a sensory reminder of the alien engineering at work, every step measured, deliberate. The echoes of his movements a quiet companion to the hum of the ship still faintly vibrating through the floor. Ethan's mind tracing the memory of Zyra's careful observation, her patience, her meticulous nature, guiding him in ways both subtle and profound. And as the corridor opened into a wider chamber, the soft glow of hidden luminescence revealed further patterns and designs, the interplay of light and shadow creating depth and texture. And in that moment, Ethan felt the culmination of trust, preparation, and anticipation, a quiet awareness that the next steps would bring them closer to understanding, to the truths Zyra had held close, and to the continuation of the journey that had begun 5 years ago with quiet, deliberate connection and unspoken understanding. The chamber unfolded before Ethan Miller with a quiet majesty that took his breath away, the walls lined with intricate panels of shimmering metal and subtle bioluminescent accents that cast soft, dancing light across the floor, the hum of the ship fading into near silence as he stepped carefully forward, each footfall echoing slightly in the vast, open space, the air cool, carrying a faint metallic scent, a reminder of the alien craftsmanship surrounding him. And then, from a softly illuminated platform at the far end, Zyra emerged, her turquoise skin glowing faintly under the gentle light, every movement poised, measured, yet graceful, her eyes locking onto Ethan's with a clarity and warmth he had rarely seen, the weight of unspoken truths hanging between them, the years of shared experience culminating in this singular moment. Ethan felt the familiar rhythm of trust and anticipation surge through him as he advanced, noting the subtle shifts in her expression, a hint of acknowledgement, a faint curve of a smile, the precise alignment of her posture, a queen in quiet revelation, and he realized how much she had carried within herself, the quiet responsibility, the hidden power, the depth of thought and care that had always guided her actions, the hum of the chamber's environmental systems blending with the faint whisper of wind from the desert outside, creating a harmonic resonance that seemed to underscore the significance of the encounter. Ethan took a measured step closer, his fingers brushing the smooth surface of a control panel that emitted soft pulses of light, the tactile feedback grounding him, while his mind traced the years of subtle communication, of shared routines, and quiet observations that had built the foundation for this moment. Zyra's gaze never wavered, her presence commanding yet inviting, a balance of authority and vulnerability that drew him forward with quiet insistence. The soft reflections of bioluminescent patterns gliding across the walls like living constellations, Ethan could sense the weight of anticipation, the convergence of trust, experience, and revelation pressing gently upon him, each step deliberate, measured, echoing softly as he approached the platform, the air thick with the quiet electricity of possibility. And as he drew near, Zyra extended a hand in a gesture of mutual acknowledgement, the faint glow from her skin illuminating the space between them, the subtle rise and fall of her chest reflecting calm determination and openness. Ethan's pulse quickened slightly, yet his movements remained controlled, grounded in the shared history and understanding that had carried them through countless trials together. The interplay of light, shadow, and soft hum of the chamber creating an atmosphere of focused anticipation, every detail observed, every nuance accounted for. And in that suspended moment, Ethan felt the culmination of 5 years of connection, trust, and subtle guidance, the quiet, commanding presence of Zyra as she revealed the truth she had carried with her, the unspoken acknowledgement of shared experience, and the gentle, inevitable recognition that this moment would redefine the path of their journey together, the soft light reflecting off her skin, her poised expression, and the delicate interplay of environment and presence leaving Ethan with a profound awareness of the significance and beauty of the revelation unfolding before him. The sunlight spilled across the vast chamber, catching every reflective surface, casting long, intricate shadows that danced over the metal panels and polished floors as Ethan Miller stepped forward, his boots making a soft, deliberate sound against the smooth surfaces, the air thick with quiet anticipation, a subtle hum of energy threading through the room, carrying with it the weight of revelation and unspoken acknowledgement. He paused for a moment, letting his eyes trace the contours of Zyra's figure as she stood poised near the elevated platform, her turquoise skin shimmering faintly under the ambient light, the delicate patterns of her bioluminescent markings rippling softly, as if resonating with the presence of years of shared understanding. Ethan's chest rose and fell steadily, each breath a deliberate anchor to the moment, the culmination of countless routines, quiet conversations, and shared observations guiding his movements and awareness. The holographic displays flickered with soft light, illuminating panels and controls that had guided them here. The subtle interplay of light and shadow creating an almost tangible rhythm within the chamber. Ethan's fingers brushed the smooth edge of a console, grounding him in the tactile reality of the present, the years of preparation, trust, and patient observation coalescing in a steady, calming pulse that harmonized with the ambient hum of the ship's environmental systems. The desert outside stretching endlessly beyond the large viewport, sand shifting gently with the morning wind, catching the sun in small sparkling patterns that echoed the complexity and beauty of the chamber's architecture. Ethan moved carefully toward the platform, his steps measured, deliberate, aware that every gesture carried meaning, every movement a reflection of the trust and understanding that had grown between him and Zyra over 5 years. Her eyes met his with a quiet intensity, an acknowledgement of the journey, the shared moments that had led to this precise intersection of space, time, and revelation. Ethan allowed the depth of the connection to anchor him, the subtle glow from Zyra's markings reflecting in his eyes as he absorbed the full significance of the environment, the interplay of past and present, preparation and anticipation, creating a heightened sense of focus and clarity. As he reached the center of the chamber, the delicate vibration of the ship beneath, his feet a grounding constant, Ethan looked to Zyra, her presence a quiet command and reassurance, the culmination of all their shared experience, the years of silent communication and careful guidance manifesting in this single, potent moment. And as they stood there, the chamber bathed in shifting light and gentle hum, the vast desert stretching beyond the windows, the sense of discovery, trust, and mutual recognition enveloped them, leaving a quiet, resonant pause that held both reflection and the promise of the journey yet to come, the convergence of shared history, quiet understanding, and imminent revelation solidifying into a moment of profound awareness, a stillness that carried weight, meaning, and the subtle, inexorable pull of destiny.